human population. And so, by the way, is the chemtrailing that's going on. If you are still among the number of people who look up at the sky and see long arching trails, plumes of white or black, and say, well, that must be normal. That's how airplanes leave trails. Those are contrails. Then you are in coma, because that's not normal. A contrail is short and dissipates rapidly. A chemtrail is a phenomenon created by the internal deposition of toxic elements into the sky. How do I know? Because people have measured what's coming down. People have measured the amount of aluminum, arsenic, cadmium, beryllium in the soil. People have measured and identified in laboratory analysis the nanobots and the other non-natural ingredients, including synthetic DNA and genetically modified viruses. Urban legend? Believe so at your own peril. Do a little research. Look into chemtrails, and you will find that up until a year or so ago, the United States government denied that there was any such phenomenon. Now they admit there is such a phenomenon because of the public voice demanding to know what was going on. And they explain it this way. Well, you see, we have to modify the weather in order to keep you safe from global warming. Modify the weather. Do you know enough about the weather to modify it? Do you understand enough about the planet to understand what dropping vast amounts of aluminum on the soil does? Do you really? Because if you do, you know that you're carrying out genocide. Do you, government of the US or any other government, really understand what creating an epidemic of Morgellons disease is doing to people? That you are changing the genetic expression of the entire DNA reservoir of the entire human population. Is that really okay with you? Well, I'm so glad for you. It's not okay with me, and it's my DNA. Now, according to the 13th Amendment of the United States Constitution, slavery and indentured servitude are no longer legal in the United States. That means that I own my body, you own yours. It also means that my DNA is not available to you to manipulate or use without my permission. So when genetically modified food, PHUDE, is put forward and given to people to eat and changes my DNA without my permission, or experimentally subjects me to conditions that I did not agree to with informed consent. The same thing is true of agribiz products that don't support life, when the same thing is true of dangerous radioactive contamination that is put forth into the atmosphere, the water, and into my food without my participating in a permission statement. Then you are violating my legal right to own and maintain my own body. Well, the FDA sees things a little differently. Of course, they say that I have no legal right to eat what I want. I have no legal right to know what's in my food. And I have no legal right to choose what is good for me. Only they have the right. And they said this in a court case over raw milk. They presented a brief that said that no one has a right to determine their own best interest and make their own choices. It was a shocking but not surprising demonstration of official globalist idiocy. You see, logic is not the issue here. The issue is dominance and depopulation. And when you are promulgating dominance and depopulation, which are illogical things to bring forward on the planet, you wind up saying and doing illogical things. If you think you're powerful enough, it doesn't really matter. The truth of the matter is, the dirty little secret that the globalists do not want you to know is that they're not powerful. They're actually very weak. They're very vulnerable. How do we know that? Because each and every time, without exception, that the people of this planet mobilize their outrage in a positive and effective way, and I'll give you some examples in a moment, each and every time that they mobilize their outrage, the globalists step back.